All right, all right. What's going on, everybody? So look, this is a last minute stream. This ain't no put together or anything like that. I just had something sitting on me. All right. What's going on, everybody? So look, this is a sorry about that. So anyway, last minute stream put together, and so earlier today, I encountered a young woman on Instagram, and she was on live, and I she usually she's I don't know what she is, but she's just a girl that's out there doing lives. And with me, a lot of times I will start engaging these women in conversation and be like, look, like, and so with her I was asking, like, yo, do you date DL guys? Like, are you one of the girls that dates DL guys? Do you find a problem with DL guys? Like, what's going on here? Like, what's your thoughts on this? And you know, she was kind of skirting around the issue, so then I just jumped on her IG live and started talking about it. But she was like, yeah, well, my boyfriend, this is my ex-boyfriend, whatever. And she was like, yeah, well, he was an athlete and then he signed with the NBA and everything changed. And that made me pause and think, like, I said, okay, well, I mean, I can't be 100% mad at the nigga because, when these athletes are in the NBA and the NFL, and when you're black in Hollywood, you are largely held to you're held to the standard or to the bullshit of a lot of common black culture, which is largely anti-LGBT and especially anti-trans. And it's just really, it was really, I don't know, it was a moment, and I was just like, whoa. I want to be militant and be like, yeah, niggas don't need to be DL, this, and this, come out, X, Y, and Z. And then I'm like, can I really fault this brother for not wanting to fuck up the bag while he's in the league and all that jazz? And I guess before I go further into it, I'm just trying to really explain y'all what really got me to just jump on here last minute, have this conversation, and just get my thoughts out there. Because I think it's an interesting conversation. I think the DL conversation definitely has layers, and it's not completely one side or another right now. But before I continue, I'm gonna bring on my main man's Trail. He's joining me today.
Yo.
What's going on, brother? We back here again, another stream.
Sir.
And for those of y'all that don't know, we did a whole little like private clubhouse style stream like yesterday. We was on there for like 4 or 5 hours. Man. It was crazy. But we covered all sorts of topics. We didn't cover this topic. And so anywho, young woman dating an athlete, and then he signs with the NBA and things change. And at that point, I look at the situation and I'm like, look, I said, well, shit, you can't fuck up the money. Like, that money got to come in. Like, you can't fuck up the money. And then I went to a larger extent and started thinking about, okay, well, who are the first in this realm of being a black man in athletics or in Hollywood? Who benefits from being the first? Like, I look to that. I just look to certain examples, and I'm like, I look at the. I know I'm butchering this name right now. It's sorry, y'all. It's not early, but my mind is still kind of warming up. But it's like the Abdul Rauf Rahim guy, and he was standing on his principles and got kicked out the league and blackballed. Colin Kaepernick. Like, people get appreciated on the back end, but while you win that shit, you're not getting rewarded.
You're right.
And
you're losing the rewards.
And the NBA is very like, the NBA don't even have gay athletes that are open. And then like, there's plenty of niggas in the NBA that fuck with trans women on the DL. And it's just, I don't know, man. I look a little bit more sympathetically at people that have a lot of bands to lose over this when it comes to like, yo, this is my business. But then on the other side, it's like, we need somebody to step up and be brave and be that one and bring their woman out there. And then, because it isn't, when this thing happens the way it needs to, it has to be the right man, but it also has to be the right woman. Like the girl has to be set up right for it too. So it's just like all these things have to happen correctly, and it's just like when I look at somebody and they're like, yeah, well, you know, my man, he can't really be out because he's an NFL player, but he's loyal to me. He's in a relationship with me. And I'm just like, look, that's your relationship and that's all good for right now, I guess, because that's the money, you know? Oh, shit. What up, Mike? Man, I didn't see you online earlier. I'm gonna shoot you an invite. But it just gets me thinking because I was really an absolutist about this. And then I was confronted with somebody else's reality. And I was like, well, shit. Is this okay if it was secret for his 5-year stint in the league and then afterwards? I mean, I don't know. What are your thoughts on that, man? I'm sorry that I think I cut you off earlier.
Yeah, me personally, you know, that whole thing, like you said about Mahmoud Abdul Rauf, you know, he stood on his principles because of his faith, being Muslim. So he had a lot to say about the American government and 9/11. The lead blackballed him. Then you got
Mm-hmm.
Colin Kaepernick, who stood on his principles and morals as a colored man about the injustice of black and brown people in America. And he used a peaceful protest that didn't hurt nobody or anything like that, and didn't have nothing to do with, you know, nobody. Like, I've been watching sports forever. Nobody never paid attention to the national anthem until Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem, and everybody peeped like, "Oh my God, look what he's doing!" Like it was such a bad thing,
Mm-hmm.
you know. He did what he did, made a peaceful protest for the injustice of black and brown people, which was cool. And now he's not even in the league no more because everybody looked at that as a problem, which I don't understand. But then again, you got people in the league that goes for breast cancer and all that other stuff, all that really doesn't have to do nothing with the league, but it has to do with life. That's why I tell people all the time, that's our reality also. All of this is our reality also. So you cannot pick one thing and be like, oh, this is what we're going to be with. You know, this is what we for. But when it comes to the injustice of black and brown, we're not with that. But now, to the actual nitty gritty, you know, I'm going to really put out another fact when it comes to sports. Michael Sam, you familiar? Right.
That's the football player guy, right?
Football player that was first, yeah. He was the first gay out football player. You know what I mean? Coming into the draft. He's not even in the NFL at all.
Nah, he didn't stay for long either. Like, I feel like he was a guy who didn't have a lot of talent and was using that to up his profile. Make people know his name. Didn't nobody know Michael Sam before he tried to be the first openly gay one. But, you know, on the flip side, it's just like, look, we're talking about athletes. And the NBA and the NBA and the NFL dominated by black culture, which is heavily anti-gay. I ain't fucking with none of that gay shit, man. No, nigga, you gay. Fuck that. I can't rock with you in that way. And you know, it's just the way things are in those locker rooms. I will say that some people can evolve on that, but really, I mean, even Dwayne Wade evolved on that, but he didn't evolve until after he was out. Because when they were talking about gays in the locker room, Dwayne Wade early on was not with it. He was not supportive.
Right.
At all. And now he has a trans daughter.
Right.
But it's just like when you're in the heat of it in the league and all that stuff. I don't know. I'm a man who I look at. Once upon a time, I looked at the situation as hot and cold and be like, look, y'all niggas need to stop being DL. Y'all need to get some balls, come out, do all this, da 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 da. And now, you know, this situation with this girl here, and I'm like, damn. I don't know if I can really fault this man or judge this man poorly for being DL and keeping his relationship secret. Because if he does that, he loses the career that he's worked years to cultivate, and you know he loses the bag. It's like that's your passion is playing basketball. That's what you want to get paid for, and now you can't do it just because of who you love, and that's fucked up. That is fucked up. But you know, it's this. I mean, on the flip side, with the celebrity game, we all know they're celebrities. We were talking about Eddie Murphy last night. I can name some other ones. I'm not going to because I learned their proclivities through private conversations with people. But hey, Liberty. But you know, it's just like, look, you don't want to be the first one to do something. And I have to be honest. What happened with Malik Yoba was not encouraging to any other man out there who might feel like you need to risk something. And let's be real, Malik Yoba wasn't really that wasn't New York undercover Malik Yoba.
No,
that was years after the fact Malik Yoba, and he still got crucified and, you know, had allegations come out and people desert him and leave him. And you know, it's all sorts of, it was a completely negative experience. And it's just like when the one guy wanted to step up and be that dude and he got shit on. And I remember I was talking to him. He was like, if this happened, if motherfuckers seeing this happen to me, why would
why would I want to come out?
Matthew Jordan, whoever the fuck else is on, those young dudes want to come out if they see what happened to me and how I got crucified and how much I lost because organizations cut ties with Malik. The trans committee itself left him high and dry. All them hang around bitches that was trying to like get clout off his name and shit deserted him once allegations came out. And I think he was saying he didn't even know the girl. Well, from what I heard, and then a lot of other folks in the community knew that, found out that the shit wasn't even 100% true either. So it's just like,
yeah, I heard a lot about that too. I heard, you know, the person.
What up, Mike?
Mike, was good. I heard a lot about the person. Like the person wasn't how you say. She's more of a cloud chaser, you know, an ambulance chaser, so to speak. You know, every time it's something, you know, she jumps out in front and try to get, you know, the benefits of it. But you know, I don't really know about the story too much, but it's one thing that I remember when Yami, she said, if I pronounce her name right, she said this one time. She said, you knew what you was doing. You knew what you was out here doing. You was, I mean, supposedly a prostitute, supposedly at that age. You wanted that man's money, and he paid for your service, if it was true. He paid for your service. Take some accountability for what you did. Take some account, because think about it. If we was men that actually pay for women's services and sexual pleasures, we're not asking about no age. We don't care about no personal business. I like what I see. I got what you want, and you got what I need for the time being. We're gonna just do that, and that's it. We go our separate ways. You know, that's that. So basically, you should have took some accountability for that. And I remember what she said. She said, "Take some accountability for what you're doing. You knew what you was doing, and that's that." Putting that out with that man coming out, being a forefront, like, yo, this is what I'm about. This is what I love. This is what I'm into. Total, like and then just like you, like what you were saying before, like about, because I asked you about the Carmen Kara thing weeks ago, and you was like, yeah, she ran out. You know what I mean? Left him high and dry, and everybody left him high and dry, and I seen that.
I mean, you saw that Breakfast Club interview. Every other word was Carmen Carrera.
Right.
Carmen Carrera. Like, she was a crush for him. She was there to be a shield for him. And then when he needed that shit, bitch was gone.
Right. She was gone.
But hold on one time, real quick, because we got a comment here relevant to this. So it's Liberty saying, I feel like Malik Yoba wasn't in his prime or at the height of his career. He was kind of old. He did come off as a little shady. Yeah, we recognize he was not at the height of his career.
He wasn't at the height of his career.
He wasn't at the height of his career when his came out. But then she followed up saying, you know, if a person like Drake did it, that would be extremely iconic. And the difference here between Drake, I'm gonna get to you, Mike, in a second. The difference here between Drake and a lot of these other folks is Drake has crossover. He has a gaggle of white fans to support him, but the average NBA player don't have that. They rely on acceptance from their peers, which are mostly black. Black celebrities usually rely on the fandom of the black people that support them in cinema, that go see their movies. So that's what we're talking about. Really, is the average like NBA player, like a LeBron James. Yeah, he's crossed over to the point where it don't matter. He's going to have fans, and people are going to still support him. And he has enough fame where that will bounce right off of him, and that's not a problem. But it's a whole lot of other dudes who's just like, look, my career, my livelihood, everything else is at stake. And you know, a lot of times on this show, we talk about men like us, which is just regular ass niggas making regular ass money. When I say regular ass money, you know, these are all of us regular ass niggas, people 150,000 and under. Like nobody who would ever consider themselves rich. See, there you go, dollar T. So you know, the regular guys out here, yeah, we still push them to, you know, come out and be open and date women in an honest and earnest way and partner with women in this community and help build a community of folks to normalize healthy romantic relationships with women of trans experience. But you know, I think the game changes a little bit when it comes to these athletes and these celebrities. And while it is shady for them to try and get girls to sign non-disclosure forms and all that, like I get that part of it is all super fucked up. And it's just I can't be as judgmental or hate as hard when I know that there's a lot at stake when it's literally millions of dollars and your passion, you're like you can't do what you love anymore. But then you know you do like this girl or you love this woman. You know, it's really weird. I can fantasize about all of this shit, but it's yeah. I'm not in that situation, and it's just like I don't think at one point in time I was there to judge and look down upon men who were famous and had a lot to lose and just willing to step up and be that example.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm a little bit more reserved in my judgment, honestly. I think that there is still space for a lot of men to come out. I would love to see more Black men do it, even if it's somebody after their prime, whatever else. Like I think what we need is just numbers and more than just one guy. Looking for that one right guy. There is no one right guy. Even Drake is not that one right guy. Because Black folks just look at him like, well, he ain't really one of us. It got to be somebody that Black folks can't disown after he does this. So, Mike, I'm sorry, I didn't come to you, man.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I just appreciate you bringing me in last minute like this. But I just had a two-part thing. Like one, the Malik Yoba thing. Technically, he's still New York Undercover Malik Yoba because New York Undercover is still on schedule to come out on the Peacock channel.
Right, it is.
This year, I believe it is. Yeah, you know, with the reboot. So technically, he's still in that light. But yeah, then you have Dwight Howard, who, you know, he was rumored to be with the trans woman at one point. And that kind of...
I'm not gay. I don't know what y'all talking about. I ain't gay.
I thought he was rumored to be with a trans woman.
Nah, but the person that said that, that wasn't a trans woman. To be honest, that person was just all types of clout. But that person was trying to...
I thought it was a trans woman.
Yeah, it wasn't a trans woman at all. He was a very androgynous dude. And he tried to do that with Playboy Cardi also. Say, oh, I was with Playboy Cardi also, this and that. You know, he was just trying all types of clout chasing. So, nah.
Yeah, but see, that kind of feeds to my point, though, is like as quick as that rumor came out, it kind of left also. So it's like it kind of shows... it kind of shows the time that we're in where it's like, you know, yeah, you might get joked on for a minute, but then all of a sudden the next minute they're like, oh, yo, what's his stats though? You know what I mean? Like,
with athletes, they can play their way out of controversy. They can.
They can. It depends on who they are.
Yeah, true. But if this was back in the 90s, it would have been different. They would have been banished. They would have been about, you know, like pretty much kicked out the league until 10 years later where they remember them and they're like, oh, wait, that person was good. You know, but now it's like more like 10 minutes later. Oh, wait, that person's good.
Right. Yeah, but it was also, he denied. And I think if an athlete came out and said, I'm owning this, I'm owning my attraction, and this is my woman and I love her, and all of y'all motherfuckers better damn well respect her and respect the way that I do things and the way that I perceive. Like that motherfucker that's gonna stand on his shit, like that's what we haven't seen yet, and I would love to see that. I just think it's gonna take the right athlete who has enough fame, or it's gonna just take the right situation where they just don't get blackballed. And you know, while the league may not blackball them because you know stats will get you out of shit, it's about locker room chemistry. You know, if niggas is heavily, you know, anti-gay and ignorant as fuck, they'll be like, yeah, I don't want your locker to be next to mine. I don't want to room with this nigga. This nigga gay. I don't want to room with him. Like that's the kind of shit that you're gonna have to start dealing with from some folks. These is all niggas from the street.
Right.
These ain't, yeah, they went to college, but they ain't college boys. These is all niggas from the street.
Right, but then also too, everybody forgot, you know, you had an open actual gay NBA player too, even though he came out later on in his career, Jason Collins.
Exactly.
He came out later on in his career.
I don't even know what team that dude play for.
Yeah, you know, I don't know, because he played for the Nets and, you know, a few other teams. But yeah, he, you know, he said after he came out, everything with the Nets signed him and everything, and he had a lot of NBA players talking shit to him on the court. Like saying like them on the court while he playing. Me, I looked at it as, you know, they're getting into your head. They're gonna do whatever they can to get to your head to get you riled up so they could defeat you. Which I understand that, because me being a sports person, I understand that. But you know, a lot of these guys, they come out later on and, you know, or you know, like in Michael Sam's case, also I meant to say, basically he was trying to get that celebrity, he was trying to be the poster child and everything. And then come to find out later on, he like 3 years down the line after he wasn't even in the league, he said he felt like the LGBT community used him. So basically, he was like he didn't really benefit when he was benefiting off of it. So yeah, he just like, yo, I felt like they used me, you know, and that's basically how it looked at, because you know it's not even necessarily like a team will like just not have you in the league, like they would just not have you in the league. It will have to be a chemistry thing. It have to be a locker room thing. People don't understand, like when in sports, the locker room is very, very important. You got guys that would get signed that is not even good. They would get signed because they're a locker room person. One person, Jared Dudley, that played for the Lakers, he's a locker room guy. That's why he has a contract. That's why he's on a team. He's a locker room guy. You know, another person that was on the team not too long ago, Jason Hart. The reason why he was on the team because he was a locker room guy. He get everybody together in a locker room. So basically, and then you got a player that was with Houston Rockets last year, Tyson Chandler. He's a locker room guy. He didn't even play. He's just a locker room guy. So people don't understand the locker room is very, very important. If you don't have the locker room, you don't have a team, to be honest.
So you're saying that, you know, the athlete that is open about dating women in the trans community would be a disruption to that locker room.
Yes,
that will disrupt the locker room.
Me personally, I don't see it that way, because it's different. You know, you got this man who likes this woman. She just happened to be trans. You know what I mean? I'm not looking at it that way, but they're gonna look at it that way. Like, oh, he's gay. You know how it is.
Yeah.
That's how they're gonna look at it. But it's crazy because they all put that all under the same umbrella. You know, oh, if you like trans women, you're gay. If you like men, you're gay. That's plain and simple. So basically, if you don't like a natural born female, you're gay. That's just how they view it. It's fucked up. You know, me personally, you know, I always, you know, like Martin Luther King said, don't judge a person by his character, not of what they do and, you know, the face, the color of their skin and everything. So yeah, it is bugged out. But you know, that's why a lot, like if somebody was to come out and say, yes, I'm into trans women and everything like that, they wouldn't really find themselves on a team, on an NFL team or NBA team for any of those reasons. Just because of that reason, because of the locker room.
Because other men on the team wouldn't fuck with him on that.
Wouldn't want to mess with him. They're gonna look at him like, yo, how can we hang with him? How can we talk to him? We can't like, you know, it's a lot of gay jokes that go on in the locker room. You know,
yeah.
So now we have to really like be sensitive to this person because this is his life. You know, and things like that. And it's bugged out, but it's crazy like that. It is.
Yeah, but see that.
Oh, okay, Mike, my fault.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, like with what you're saying, like they're thinking of it still from the standpoint of like, oh, now it's like all of a sudden out of nowhere they don't know this guy. When it's like, yo, you've been in the locker room with this guy, you've played on teams with him, you traveled the roads with him. Just because he comes out and says he's into trans women, doesn't mean that you should be thinking, oh, I got to treat this person differently now. No, like it's still the same person.
Right.
It's just, okay, you know something about their life that you didn't previously. So take that into consideration and then move forward with treating them the way you normally would. But at the same time, be just a little conscious of whatever they may not like. And that's if they voice that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I perfectly understand. Yeah. It's real crazy. But you know, one thing I also said too, like if any of these NBA players, these athletes or anything, how about you don't say nothing? How about you don't say, oh, I'm out, I'm this and that? How about you don't say nothing? How about you just go on and live your life? Say, for example, you know how TMZ is. They see a person that's famous, they see them out with someone. They be like, oh, he was spotted with such and such, such and such. You know what I mean? Let that.
Yeah.
I want to see something like that play out. Like, don't come out.
Well, I mean, that's really what it is. That's how. So, I mean, that's part of this conversation is, you know, can I guess I have a little bit less judgment now for those guys, but it's like I said before, it's fucked up. But they do go out on dates with these girls, and they have them sign non-disclosures, and they'll usually pick the pretty, passable girls. They don't pick clocky girls to try to, you know, stealth with. Yeah, they're definitely all about that, but it's just like, okay, they got the non-disclosure, and she's just a girl that don't nobody know. And all right, we're gonna take a picture of this guy, but don't nobody really know who that girl is. You know, I just, I like I said before, I believe I have a little bit less judgment for the guys in this situation now, but then also I have a little bit less judgment for the girls in this situation because, you know, a lot of times guys in our community will turn to the women and be like, well, why do you put up with all these DL dudes? Like, it's your fault. Like, what's, you know, y'all ladies need to do better than this, and this. And then, you know, when this girl was sharing just a piece of her story, I was like, yo, and I can't even judge you because, you know, I have to respect her for not putting herself ahead of the team, which is team whoever her boyfriend is. Like, yo, I mean, really, part of being a supportive mate is rocking for your mate, for your spouse's team. Like, yo, I ride with you all day. Like, yo, team Chris, team Mike, team Carol, whoever. Like, these girls are rocking for the team all day, and if that's what it takes for her to, you know, not be the focal point of this, and for her to just fall back for a few years, so the team can get this bread, this 40 million over 5 years, like that's what it's gonna take. And it's just like I had to respect it. I couldn't judge her for it. Now, you know, I have to be honest. It's a complete this is a completely different situation when it's regular people. Because a woman is out there saying, "I'm going to allow this guy who makes 40,000 a year or 50,000 a year to be DL." It's like, but for what? Like, I just when there's a certain purpose behind it and there's strategy behind it, I can't really think about it in the same way. You know, this is millions of dollars on the line for a couple years of, but then I also get that these women deserve the benefits and the privileges that come with being with these famous dudes. Trans women deserve to be the dates on the red carpet. They deserve to be, you know, the wife that the athlete is thanking after he wins a world championship. Like they deserve to be in those circles. They deserve to be basketball wives clubs and the NFL wives clubs. Like they're in that circle. That's their man. And they deserve all the fringe benefits with that as well. So I do see that side of it too. It's just such a nuance. It's just such a complicated conversation, man. Because it's just like typically with regular, everyday people, it's like, look, all y'all niggas need to stop being DL, and ladies, y'all need to stop dealing with all these DL broke ass niggas that ain't and don't mean no damn good for your ass. Like everybody need to change shit up around here. But you know, when celebrities and athletes, rich people are different. It's just not the same. I wish I would love to say it is, but it isn't.
It ain't. But you know, and that's the sad part about it. It ain't. You know. You know, me personally, like
there's plenty of women out there in LA and New York holding out for that fantasy of being with a celebrity. It's cis and trans women out there holding out for that fantasy of being with a celebrity. But it's just like maybe trans women. I mean, do you think this guy that you want, this dude that's giving you that, is he going to be that dude? Is he going to be the first like openly whatever? Like, is he going to be that forerunner, or are you just setting yourself up for a life of unhappiness and DLness, or a life of agreed DLness where you're not completely unhappy because it's something you signed up for? I don't know. It's a
yeah. And like I said, I live right here in New York. You know, I was talking about it last night. You know, I see a lot of dudes that you'd be surprised. Rappers, all of that. Like I used to look at, like I'll be out and about and I look at, I'll be in the areas and I look at my homeboy like, yo, did you peep? Yeah. He just look at me like, yeah, I seen that. I seen who that is. Oh, yo, you saw it? Yeah, I saw who that was. Because they will come up in a nice car and the girls will get in. So you off top would think, oh, that's a date or something like that. But now I got cool with these girls and these girls be like, yeah, I'm waiting for my homeboy to come I'm waiting for my date to come pick me up. I'm like, hey, I'm like, oh, you getting it like that? She's like, nah, I'm really fucking with him and such and such. So, I just happened to walk past. I just came out. I'm just telling you this particular situation. I just come out the store one day and she had my liquor bottle. And she said, oh, I forgot I still got this. Here, give it to you. And she had already opened the door of the Range Rover, right? So I'm not thinking of it. I'll take it. I just glanced and I saw who it was. My head, I said, oh, shit. Word. And she just jumped in. Now, mind you, this girl's beautiful.
So you're not going to blow him up? You ain't going to say who?
Nah, I can't. I'm not, like I said.
Why? Let's say it.
Huh?
Just say it.
Nah, I can't. I'm not going to
Come
do
on.
that.
Come on, man. Come on.
I don't do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. You know,
well, I see shit.
He's not a global rapper. He's more of he's a rapper. Like people know who he is, but he's not a global rapper. He's not like a superstar type rapper.
I mean, are we really shocked though that's a rapper? Like,
No, I'm not. Put it like this. I'm not shocked at all. This is the thing. I'm letting people know that this is like it's normal, but then again, it's still not looked at as normal. And I seen who it was. I was just like, wow. I didn't tell nobody. I swear I never told nobody who it was or anything like that. I kept it to myself because, like I said, I don't like to be in other grown man business. I don't like to spilling other grown man business. That's just something that I grew up on. The principles I stand on and I stand by firmly because I'm the type of people, I don't like my business being put out by other men all the time, especially if it's not something that's good. I don't, that's why I don't do it. So. Well, another thing with these girls that I be seeing them with and they be out and about with these guys, I try to protect them also because at the end of the day, you don't know something can happen to them also. So that's true. I talk about it.
You don't gotta name the girls. I just want to know the dude.
I feel that, but the dude name get out there, he's gonna retract to who he was fucking with.
Yeah. Well, here I want to give a shout out real quick. So Liberty put this out there. It's like I think Jimmy Smacks would be better, referencing Malik Ilba, because Jimmy Smacks stood on this. He stood on how he felt about trans women and didn't go run and hide. And I Googled it right after she did that. And he was with Mia Isabella, apparently. I don't know if he was it's some video of him sucking someone's dick. And I don't know if it was Mia Isabella, but she already got history in rap with Tyga.
Yeah,
because her and Tyga was together, and then
that's the one that was with Tyga, supposedly.
Yeah. Me and Isabel was with Tyga, and then the whole world came down. Oh, that's a man, and that wasn't even that long ago, bro. This was like 2016.
Yeah,
this is about 5 years ago.
Yeah, I remember.
And that's a man, and how could you leave a Kardashian because he cheated on Kylie to be with her, and blah blah. And it was just like, and I remember she had posted. She was like, "I thought love was love," and now I'm feeling like. I thought I found love, and then this was a person that I had feelings for, and she was like devastated. And shout out to Colin Kaepernick because I heard that he was a support for her. after all that. But yeah, shout out to Jimmy because yeah, he's standing on the shit. He in a ride with Mia Isabella. You can post a
Jimmy
picture.
Smacks?
He's a rapper.
Oh, I never heard of him. I'm gonna keep it real.
I never really heard of him before this reference, but I guess he's a rapper and like, but you know, he took a picture with her like, yo, we in the car, and I'm like, nigga, if anybody on this earth catch me with Mia Isabella, like I'm gonna be cheesing up, like I'm gonna be with that shit. Like that's not a chick that you know shove back in the closet or nothing like that. That ain't some shit to be embarrassed about, being seen with on the streets. Really,
she must be a beautiful girl then.
Oh yeah, no, she's gorgeous, man. And what I've seen of her, like her interviews and stuff, really, really, really nice person, which is great, really sweet. Another comment from Liberty. Y'all keep the comments coming because we just gonna keep ripping off your comments and shit. Thank you, Liberty. She also gives us credit because it's not easy either because of backlash, the backlash that men can face in general can be, very volatile. And I have to be honest, I'm still working on repairing my relationship with my mother because of this stuff. Like, this definitely torpedoed the relationship that we had. It blew it to bits. And, we're slowly putting things back together, putting things in place.
Oh, she's not bad. All right.
Yeah, right. Mia's dope. So it's just like there are repercussions. There can be repercussions, but
sure can.
It's part of being a man is standing on your shit and owning who you are and being a person of conviction.
But like I said before, like I said something wrong. My fault, Mike. Go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead, Mike.
Oh no, I mean I was just gonna say like that's exactly my point. It's like no matter what economic class you find yourself in, like there's still gonna be a stigma, so it's still gonna be some kind of backlash. It's just gotta be up to you to like man up, and if you are say famous and everything like that, be the first one to actually do it, because like I said before, like we're not in the 90s no more, we're in 2021. So even if you do face some kind of backlash, the likelihood of it bringing down your career like that is very minimal. You can still work through it. And then think about it, say 5-10 years later down the line, people remember back to you and they're like, oh wait, that was cool, that person to actually do that, stuff like that. So it can have some upsides and downsides.
But I think there's color dynamics though, because the average Black actor still largely relies on the acceptance and the promotion of the Black community to succeed. So if the average Black actor is like, yo, I'm doing this and this is my girl, X, Y, and Z. Okay, well, when he's down and he's in between movies, he may not get picked for that Tyler Perry movie or that other, because a lot of these lower budget, like Black movies, they have a lot of religious overtones. A lot of them do, because religion, Christianity is like central in the Black community. He won't get that part on that BET show because he's in this world. Because BET is a network that didn't even run a trans supportive commercial during the BET Awards because they thought it would upset the audience. Like, that is some, real shit. So it's just like, I think when it comes to Black actors and not even Black athletes, I would say athletes in the NBA and NFL that are athletes in leagues that are dominated by Black athletes, and then Black Hollywood, those are just spaces where it's a lot more precarious. I think there are people that can do it and get away with it. When I say get away with it, I mean, like, I think there are people that could build up their celebrity or their stature in that business or profession to the point where it bounces right off. So like a Michael B. Jordan right now is going to bounce right off. But some guy who just had a really good supporting role in a movie, but never really had his own movie or whatever else, like it may drag him down. Like a guy who might have had a good role on The Chi, but that's all he's got on his resume. That he doesn't have a big enough resume to like have shit bounce off him like that. And what's funny, this has always been a contradiction in the Black community. I'm just throw that out here real quick. There's always been a huge contradiction in the Black community. We gladly accept masculinity is rewarded, and we gladly accept and reward women who are lesbian and who show masculinity. Like lesbian women are largely accepted, like studs and like I mean, really, who's coming up? Like Lena Waithe is getting lots of heat, and she's
Young
doing
and
these black
Bay.
clothes, and you know the studs and all that stuff. They're accepted generally, but when people give up masculinity or they move away from that, you're devalued, and it's like that's why you see some of these like more butch lesbian girls doing shit, and then gay men, feminine gay men, and trans women, they're not, or anybody associated with them like that, ain't really moving on up in terms of status. So, I mean, that's a whole nother dynamic.
Yeah, but see,
and
people.
also, go ahead, Mike.
No, my bad. You go. My bad.
Also, it's another thing too. I wanted to point out also. I remember the Vibe Awards back in 2019. They was Tanisha Arnold and Tisha Campbell. Tisha Campbell and Tanisha Arnold was doing the Vibe Awards. They was hosts. They had the skit at the beginning of the Vibe Awards, a ballroom, right? Tanisha Arnold is from the ballroom scene. A lot of people don't know that. She's from the ballroom scene. She wanted to add MJ Rodriguez in the skit. She had to fight hard to get her into the skit. Fight hard because they didn't want it in the skit because they was like, yo, that's not our audience. We can't just have her in the audience. They're like, yo, she's a part of this. We want her in this. They had to fight hard to get her just to be in a skit with them, or in the act of the award show, because they didn't want to see it. They was like, yo, our audience don't want to see that. Our audience is not into that. They was like, yo, for us to do this, you want us to pull us off? We need her in this. Facts. And it's so fucked out that you have to really go hard like that just to get something like that in. And it's like, God damn. You know, it's fucked up. But go ahead, Mike. I'm sorry.
Nah, all I was gonna say was like people do get it fucked up thinking like, oh, just because you not necessarily 100% straight hetero male, whatever stuff like that, that you're automatically like feminine. It's like, nah, like you got masculine people in the LGBTQ world, trans amorous world, whatever, you know, all that shit, you know, just like you got in that straight world, you know what I'm saying? You know, like I mean, if you do watch Pose, like everybody sees Pose and everything like that, you got the dude Ricky Evangelista, who is masculine motherfucker. You know what I mean? Like he's not feminine at all. And it's like it just goes to show you, like, yo, you could be gay and you ain't necessarily feminine. You know, so it's like people got to get those stigmas out.
But the thing is, I think it just takes seeing is believing, brother. And I have to be honest, that was something that I had a stereotype in my mind of what gay people are, and then until I jumped into the workforce. And when I say the workforce, I mean my professional career, not working at Taco Bell and shit. Because niggas who was gay there, they were still flamboyant. But like it was men that I worked with that I found out was gay, and I'm like, this nigga don't read anything like it. He's just a regular ass dude. And I didn't even know that existed until my first foray into the professional career world. And it's just like, I think a lot of times stereotypes just exist because people don't have those examples. They don't have that exposure.
And they're not open-minded enough also, because there's a lot of guys I see I didn't know that was gay. You know, Don Lennon, I didn't know he was gay. Don't come off like that. Anderson Cooper, he don't come off as gay. Didn't know he was gay.
Exactly.
You understand me? It's a lot. So it's a lot of guys you will see. You be like, yo, damn. Another guy that I used to watch him as a kid because he was a workout dude, Sean T. I didn't know he was gay. I said, oh shit, Sean T gay. I didn't know that. But yeah, you know what I mean? They could do it. They could pull it off, and they could, like some people would say that stuff, so to speak. And I'm just like, no, they just being themselves. Like y'all just have the stereotypical way of a gay person supposed to be in their head, and it don't even be like that. Like a guy I grew up with, and I call him my big bro now. He was gay. He don't come off as gay, but he came out and was like, "Yo, this is what I am. I'm gay." But you can't look at him and go, "Oh, he's gay." No, you can't. You really can't. So I understand what you're saying.
And really, for everybody joining us on the stream right now, we're really just talking about like the celebrity athlete. Is GL okay for those people? Does it sting less because they have so much to lose? Is it more acceptable because they have so much to lose? is it do we judge the women that engage with these men a lot less harshly because there is so much at stake? So that's what we're really conversing about here, y'all. And to Charles' point about stereotypes and what people think about certain communities, I think this is a huge problem even in my own life. So I know it's a problem in the athlete's life because I'm just a regular nigga, and a lot of these athletes, they regular niggas too. They from the streets, they from the hood, and look, the stereotypes that a lot of people have of folks in the trans community is not sweet. They think in Tuwon Fu, Holiday Heart, it goes back to that Netflix documentary Disclosure, and it's just like the vision that people have in their mind of the trans community is hyper flamboyant men who wear dresses, and they don't look at these folks they don't look at transgender women as individuals who live their lives as women through and through 24 hours. Their identity, their soul, everything reads woman on them. And some of the times, and let's be real, some of the times these trans women have more feminine energy than a lot of cis women. And for those of y'all that don't know what cis, we're talking about genetic, natural born, whatever. That cis is the term that we use for genetically born, whatever. So cis male, cis woman, cis female, all that stuff. Just we got a lot of new folks coming in. So there are women in the trans community that exude feminine energy and in a way that some cis women just don't. And a lot of times I always say that it's about a lot of times it's about energy. Feminine energy attracts masculine energy. Like men who are masculine, that we don't look for masculinity in our women. That's not what we're here for. So if you are exuding masculine energy, you're not going to get that heavily masculine dude that you've been looking for. You might get some beta male fuck niggas, but like I think stereotypes play a huge part in this as well, because if an NBA player is like, yeah, I date women in the trans community or I identify with this community, I'm an ally, X, Y, and Z, they can be like, oh, this nigga fuck with dudes in dresses. And that's how they think, because they don't know anybody in the trans community. And that's the Achilles heel to this whole movement, is the fact that the trans community and us, we just don't have the numbers. It's really about market penetration. It's really about there being enough folks out there in this space openly and not hiding, for people to know, like, yo, I got a transgender girl at my job and she's cool as fuck. Or I went to school with a transgender. I went to high school with a transgender girl. She was dope. Or Lisa down the street. Yeah, that's her neighbor. She's good people. She borrowed us some sugar. Like, or I sent my kids down there to shovel the sidewalk or something like that. Like it's like we've gotten to a point where most people have like a gay cousin or a gay coworker, and we're just not at a point where there is somebody in the trans community represented in a lot of folks' lives to the point where they can start to humanize people in the community. So in lieu of that, media gives you your portrayal of that community, which is kind of what happens. There are, what is it? It's like a bit over around 40 million Black folks in America. And there are whole pockets of this country where there are no Black people. And the way that people get their ideas about Black folks is usually from VH1, MTV, whatever they see on media, and it's usually not a positive portrayal. So it's just like, I think that's where we're held up at right now. And I think that stigma and that the stereotypes is what's really holding back a lot of these athletes. A lot of the athletes and the celebrities, I keep trying to think of like Black actors that are young, because it feels like we're not getting a good crop of replacement young Black actors. Like Denzel is old. Like Tay Diggs, he ain't young either, So I just keep going back to like a Michael B. Jordan because he's young.
Michael B. Jordan. Michael B. Jordan, that is the future Denzel. Like, when Denzel's retired, I'm telling you, he's
gonna come out, because he's like, okay, well, even if I don't have a girl and I just say I date in this community, people gonna think that I date drag queens, and like that's all I'm looking at. And it's the stereotypes, movies, media, everything has just done it. That, and then a refusal to learn, to take in new information and evolve is also there because of religion and faith. We covered that last night on our other stream. Thanks for that, Mike. But yeah, religion, at least in the Black community, religion is central, and it's a large reason why we don't grow as a community in our understanding in a lot of areas. And it isn't even the religion itself; it's the dogma of it. Like the Bible itself is responsible for a lot of shit. It's a lot of the tradition, culture, dogma, other bullshit that ain't even in there that people have just developed, and also the way that Christians tend to pick and choose which sins they want to persecute. Especially Black Christians who ain't even read the. It's niggas out there that ain't even read the damn Bible, but they talk about their faith and all this other shit all day. You don't even read that shit. You've never even read the Bible from front to back before in your life, but you want to go on and on about your faith. Niggas.
That's not religious.
I'm done. I'll take a break.
I don't care about being religious. I really don't care about that.
So I don't want to be anti-religion, y'all. It's just I hate dumb niggas.
But the crazy thing about what you said before with the drag queens, like, I mean, like, don't get me wrong, like, drag queens have a place in the community. And you got some beautiful drag queens out there, but at the end of the day, that's still a gay man dressing up, impersonating a woman, not being a woman, but impersonating. Sure. The whole idea of a trans woman is that is a person who mentally and everything like that was born a woman. It's just that they were in the wrong body, and now they're correcting that mistake. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because, they were always naturally a woman. Their body just didn't give off the same biological, whatever, gender. So people got to get that understood.
Yeah.
And like,
yeah.
I mean, that's the case for a lot of them. I'm not going to sit here and go with the platitude on that one 100%. But that's the case with a lot of them, because the dirty little secret in community is not everybody transition for the same reasons. That's the dirty little secret. And I'm here to put everybody laundry out in front.
Oh, like Rachel?
Like who?
Like that Rachel motherfucker?
Oh, the Moses. Is that what it is?
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. I'm sorry, I'm not. I know you got personal ties on that one, but
I just laugh at the whole.
But yeah, I'm talking majority. Yeah, like
So ladies that are watching, thank you for the comments. Really, tell us, like, would you be okay with being DL with a man who was a celebrity or an athlete? Like, would you be okay with being DL for the sake of the career? But he's loyal to you. He is loyal to you, but your relationship can't be out on Front Street for the sake of securing the bag and the money, and for him to continue his career in the way that it should. Can y'all? Is that something y'all can sign up for? Is that something that y'all can live with? And I used to be, like I said early in this, I used to be hot and cold on this one, and now it's just like NBA career only lasts a few years, but a few years is not a short time. It can be, especially when you're held up like that. It can be a very long time. But what I would love is, I would love a documentary. I would love to see a documentary, even if this is all retired players, all the players that say, hey, yeah, we all dated women in this community. Here's how it got done. I played for this team. And like, kind of like how 30 for 30, they did oh God, we ain't gonna talk about Flame Monroe and her, he, she, we, whatever the fuck.
Flame Monroe.
Flame Monroe up here. Sorry, those who are on Facebook that don't see it, there's Liberty on YouTube.
That's a great idea that you coming up with, though. Like, I mean, that should be done. A documentary, like just.
There's those y'all that haven't seen it. 30 for 30 did a thing called Broke.
Yeah, one of my.
And they had a bunch of athletes talk about how they spent their money, lost. They just telling it their story, but all of them have a central storyline about how they proceeded while they were. So yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off there, Mike. It was just I was really trying to explain. Like I envision it being like a broke, and it's just all these guys talking about, yeah, well, I played for the Lakers up until like 2012. Yeah, I was playing with Kobe, but me and whoever the heck, me and the boys, me and this other dude on my team, I always find somebody else on the team, X, Y, and Z. We used to date these girls, or we used to have parties just for NBA players and trans women and this, and this, and yeah, this is a regular part. Like this is the thing. If you don't think it's happening, and like offer credible voices to the fact that this is happening. And I guess we need the first step to all of this is just acknowledgement. And maybe we just acknowledge that this is happening, and then hopefully we can move forward to this is happening, and now we need to recognize. Now we need to move to something that's a little bit more public and normalizing it. And I mean, if there was a coalition of players that came out and said, "Yo, we all do this shit. We all allies of the community," even if it was like a 5-6 man coalition, that would be dope as fuck. Yeah. I think one man can't do it by himself. It needs to be a group of dudes.
Yeah, because it would also get like the players that are currently on teams, whatever, saying like, you know what, we've actually been in the locker room with someone that was either gay or transamorous or bisexual, whatever the case is, so they can kind of realize like, yo, like they was just like us, like there's no difference.
For sure. And to my earlier question, asking the women if they could, find themselves in a situation, would they agree to be in a relationship with a man who was a professional athlete or celebrity? If they had to be DL, would they agree to be in DL with that man just for the sake of his career? Neff is saying no.
Hell no. I know.
No, she says hell no.
Yeah, hell no.
Answer the question. No. She ain't doing that.
Neff already got a problem with one dude, and how he operates. So I ain't gonna say the dude name, but yeah, she has a problem with one dude and how he operates already. So I already know she ain't with that.
Props to Neff.
Liberty said, I don't deal with DL man, period, unless he is giving me money or love. To me, there is no in between. It's pointless to deal with them for free. And maybe that's a part of this, because a $40 million contract, that's bread. Not all for you, but like it's really like your partner. You as a woman saying, I want to partner with you and I want to be with you. I want to be your woman. But in order for you to get the bag and secure this $40 million contract, you're going to have to be on the low level for a couple years. And at that point, you stepping in and being this girl like that, like I'm not saying he's going to pay you transactionally in that way, but I mean, don't no woman of an NBA player sit there in a studio apartment not being taken care of. So on that side, there is maybe some money exchanging, but not for sex specifically, not in a sex worker way. But I'm not here capping for D on this, y'all. I'm just, this is a really interesting and complicated issue, and I just felt like talking it out.
Yeah.
Sorry, brother Charlie, I did cut you off there, man.
Huh?
I'm sorry. I know I cut you off there.
Oh yeah, basically yeah. I can understand. When it comes to like with the girl Liberty said, she said, I'm not dating them unless I'm profiting off of it. I can understand that to a certain degree, But then again, as a woman, as a woman of trans experience, you should want to stand on your ground and be like, yo, I'm not with this. I'm not nobody's secret. I'm not dealing with this because you didn't do all of this transitioning and living your life this way and sacrificing a lot of other things, because they do sacrifice their things too now when they transition. So shouldn't want to do all of that and be someone's secret. Nah, fuck that. Don't dumb it down. Now, in hindsight, I'm gonna look at it and go, okay, they profited off of it. They was getting paid. They had a lot of things going on too, which is cool and all. But then again, at the end of the day, that relationship don't last. You still at square one, looking to be loved and looking to be with someone. Now you're not even looking at an average Joe, because you passed that already. You already had like a high profile celebrity type of dude. You want to continue that, supposedly. Now it's like you just gonna have to take whatever you want. I mean, whoever. Basically, it's like you're gonna now fuck with a guy. Basically, an average Joe is gonna want to be with you and open and everything like that. To be honest, you know, but on her behalf, she's probably not going to be with that. And not saying none of you ladies in the comment section. I'm not saying none of you ladies. I'm just saying, speaking in general, they probably just feel like, yo, I'm gonna want a man that's of this high stature.
Yeah, it's all about your goals. It's all about what you're in it for. So, you know, I think sometimes there is a fantasy there, like, and it isn't just trans women. I think there's a lot of cis and trans women out there whose fantasy is to be with that rich, powerful, you know, high end dude. Everybody wants that high value man, so to speak, in quotes.
This right here, what William Powell said, he touched on.
Brother Powell, shout out to Brother William Powell. Thank you for watching, man. He says athletes should step up and come forward. John Sally touched on this on the Bald show.
DJ Vlad. I saw the interview.
Oh yeah, DJ Vlad show.
Exactly what he's talking about. Yeah.
But you know, but it's things like that where it's like, okay, you have people who are past their prime, people out of the way, say, oh yeah, that should totally do this shit. But then like, ain't nobody in it on that shit. And I get it, you got to focus on your career, but life does happen outside of your career. Like, you still got to live. You have to have happiness as well. All these niggas got women.
Yeah,
they find it out there.
Yeah, basically what John Sally was touching on, because John Sally used to chill with Dennis Rodman. And being that, you know, how Dennis Rodman used to have gay people and trans women in his entourage, chilling, just hanging around him. You know what I mean? And he had this one girl with him one time, and John Sally was like, he see all the guys pushing up on this girl and everything, but she's not really giving them play. And he said the girl is pretty. He said himself, he was like, the girl's beautiful, but he said she's not my type, you know. So, you know, he looked at him and was like, you wanna like Dennis Rodman gave him the eye, like, yo, you wanna push up on that? He was like, nah. He looked at him and like, same old Sam. He was like, that's not my type. And he knew up top, like, that's not his type. He just said, like, he just threw it out there, like, you want to push up on him? And he was like, nah. And then he said, come to find out, he was like, she was trans. And he was just, like, blown away. He was like, wow. And he said he sees all these guys trying to talk to the young lady, and nobody, like, you know. And he was just like, in his head, he said, to be honest, if that's what you're into, just say you're into that. There's nothing wrong with you saying that. Just own it. When, you know what I mean? And this is something what Charlemagne always say. I get this from Charlemagne the God all the time. And this is something I stood on too since I was a kid. Live your truth so nobody can hold it against you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody can hold it against you. Like right now, I live my truth. Nobody can say, oh, yeah, but you be doing this and that. Yeah, because that's my life. That's what I do. Now you telling me this is like what? Yeah, you don't have nothing else to come at me about? So, you know, yeah. So it's sort of like that.
Yeah, but there's a difference between you and Charlemagne, though. Like, you know, you'll say that and you'll stand on it. Charlemagne, he'll say something like that, but then he'll go right back to the next interview and be problematic with a trans person, like, you know, trying to say this.
Because I see that too. Yeah, I see that too. Like he had Yoba and all them up there, and you know, speaking about it and everything. He had Jane and Mock up there. They were speaking all nice about it. But then when Flame Monroe, corny ass, come up there, he's agreeing and he's all for it. And all of a sudden, when Lil Duval was up there talking his shit, he was laughing and joking about it. And it's like, nah. When Lil Duval was saying, "Oh, I'm gonna kill him. Oh, I gotta kill him," and this and that. If they do that to me, they can kill him. And that's what everybody try to put the narrative out there, like these trans women are fooling people, and they not. You know off top what you're getting yourself into. Stop saying that. Stop doing that. Stop trying to use that as a narrative, which is so fucked up because a lot of states even have that that whatever that fucking mean, a panic. You could use that and do something to them and not get charged with it, which I don't understand. I never understood that, but it's crazy. You know?
This is coming from somebody who has a degree in criminal justice, is still going to school for criminal justice, possibly going to go to law school after I get my bachelor's. Like that panic defense shit, bullshit.
Right, I agree.
Yeah.
So you know, to some of the ladies are commenting on this a little bit, and Lola brought up an interesting point. You know, she says all women of experience don't live openly trans, which changes the dynamic. So yeah, that's a whole other side of things for sure. That definitely adds a whole other element to it. You know, and I've had conversations with women who you know have lived a good amount of their life stealth, but you know they have run into partners that at the end of the day, I would say, you know, you're still going to run the problems if your partner is a little problematic. Like, yeah, he accepts you, but not your transness. Like, he fucks with you and only you. And he has that. Pretty much, it's all about. I'm not going to say it's a big deal if certain people in his life don't know, but it becomes dangerous for you as a trans woman when people can't know. When these people, like my mom, can't know about this, my friends can't know about this, or else like that fear and all, like that's where murderous intent swells from. Really, is can't know. So I'm, you know, a lot of times it's like, okay, yeah, live stealth, but you still got to get a guy that is going to, on some level, not have that fear in the back of his head, like he has something he needs to protect, because that's just a dangerous situation. You can. I get it. We want to play and be stealth and all this other stuff. Cool. It's just, I just think there still is a little bit of danger and some things to watch out for on that front. Even if you got your man and you think he's good, he loves you, and this, and this, you know, is he gonna throw a whole ass fit if you're wearing a sky blue and pink t-shirt? Like, is that gonna be a problem? If it's not, then you got a good one. If it is, you might want to, you know, rethink staying around this guy. But I think, yeah, women that want to sell, I think that situation might be perfect for them. And you know, but I think really what we really are trying to wrestle with is, you know, that first athlete that wants to be public, or that could be public, but the thing that's holding him back from being public isn't his girlfriend being stealth. It is the shame, judgment, and the loss of money and the destruction to his career and passion that he's weighing at that point. So now it's just like it's little. It can just be a little bit different, and you know, that I think that's just what we're really kind of wrestling with, because I guess it's really judgment from my side, and just for me, I'm thinking about this in a completely different way now. And before I was like really hot and cold, like, no, you need to come out. You need to be an example. You got to step up as a man, X, Y, and Z. Like, we need more examples. And now I'm like, but $40 million contracts, like these professional athletes, it's a team. It's a whole team effort between the family, the girlfriend, the athlete. It's a whole support system. And, you know, is it something that could wait a couple years? I don't know. There are people that are agreeing to it, and I can't judge them for agreeing to hold off for a couple years. And I can't judge the woman that says, you know what, I'm not going to sideline my transness for your success for a few years as well. I fully support that. But then the girls who are on the other end, I can't judge them. Now,
yo, I like this comment right here that Darren's saying. I like this comment right here.
Who? Oh, King Durant. All right.
Yeah.
So he said, my dream was, this is King Durant Bennett. He says, my dream was to be in the NFL. If that happened to me, I would definitely be open with my fiance. She deserves that, as do all trans women who, yeah, I'm sorry, they have been secrets to these men long enough.
Yeah.
And but I mean, that's what we all really here for. We're here to change stigmas, move the conversation forward, help other men come out, get some more relationships out there, so we can normalize this thing and really not have a man weigh my career or my woman. And I think somebody had actually, you know, what is this? Somebody said that up here. Yeah. Nope, wrong one. Wrong comment. Sorry. But yeah, it's really, you know, I'm sorry. Yeah, there we go. Alana, it said, you know, it's like you got to choose between your success or honesty. Like you got to make. You shouldn't have to make that choice. That choice should not be something that is weighing on a young man's mind when he is, you know, making decisions related to his career and love and life.
Well, Well, I might have a hot take on this real quick.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, like as the man in the relationship, you got to think about, okay,
Facts on that.
yeah, it's dangerous no matter which way you go. That's true. And basically, you got to think about, am I okay with the corporation buying my dignity for X amount of years of what the contract is? Or am I going to be open with who I am in the public? And from the girl's standpoint, she's got to think about, okay, I've gone through this transition. I've spent this amount of money on surgery, hormones, all this stuff to live who I truly am. Am I okay with being a secret for 5 to 10 years while this guy goes ahead and does this? And it's really, at the end of the day, mostly benefiting him more than it is the girl, because she doesn't know if at the end of the contract, is he going to be like, you know what? I changed my mind. I'm actually going to marry this sister. You know, because she doesn't know where he's going to go with it. So that's what I'm saying. On both ends, you got to weigh out, like, is your dignity really worth it?
Mm. Well, you know, I think there's also, and I think this is a huge point here is from Lola. She says, it's important to know who you're dealing with. I'm not openly trans, but I don't date men. And I think, you know, I think it really does take selection and, you know who the fuck you're dealing with and all that stuff. But I think that is definitely a huge part of it. It's but also on that other, it isn't just about the money, and I think some women, I think people end up in situations where it's like, this person makes me feel validated. This person makes me feel seen, and I as a man, I'm looking for a specific kind of woman, or a woman is looking for a specific. She wants that baller nigga, and this is that baller ass nigga that's making her feel like a real woman, or that's making her feel validated in whatever way she needs to be validated at that time. And it's just like there can be, there are women that end up in situations where it's like, okay, look, I know this ain't the perfect man, but he makes me feel good. He makes me feel loved. He makes me whatever else. Like there are other things to consider than, well, I invested all my surgery and this and that. The relationship itself could be pretty decent behind closed doors at the house, wherever, on vacation. I think that there could be a good relationship there, a loving relationship there, but, society can get in the way sometimes. And when it comes to, I don't know why I keep throwing out 40 million, but that number's just stuck in my head for some reason. 40 million, it's just like, that 40 million takes care of not just him, but his whole family, his mom, his brothers, sisters, cousins, and you. Like, okay, yeah, you as girl, but that's the role of all girlfriends in the league. You don't know how long you trying to tie this nigga down to marry him so you can get some of that money, or just feel entitled to it more, feel some sort of security. But these dudes date around, they cheat, they're all over the place. Sorry, wait, I'm in the comments. Neff agrees with you, Mike. Georgia Brown says, I agree with you, but it's easy to say now since you are not in the NFL. But being public can/will affect your career. I don't want to be a secret to any man, but we still have to be real about the situation we can put them in. And yes, this whole conversation is around the athlete, the black athlete, the celebrity, the actor, the movie star. Like somebody who is in an entertainment space that is not really built for the LGBT folks or just the trans community. Because there are spaces that's built for allegedly LGBT, but trans is still like, So I think this is Jade Santiago. I think this is the girl who started all of this. This was a shout out to Jay. Thanks for joining us. This was the girl, I was just on her live and she just shared part of her story. And I'm just like, damn, I normally judge people for this, but the situation that she was in with this NBA guy, I was like, I can't be mad at her for it. And I actually tip my hat to her for wanting to be, a team player on that shit and being like, yo, I care about you, and I'm gonna let you get your career off the way you need to get it off, and I'm going to fall back on this front. And it's just wow, it blew my
Say, like,
mind.
you know,
Blew my
something
mind.
like that, you know, it's you know, if the girl is cool with that, then who am I to judge? I don't care. You know, if they're cool with,
Absolutely.
doing that, that's cool. You know, on their behalf.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm not gonna judge at all. I don't judge. I try my best not to judge, because I didn't go to law school, and I don't have a gavel, so I'm not gonna judge at all. But
Even
you
then,
know,
those people suck.
yeah, because I like, if she's understanding enough on that behalf, which at the end of the day,
Mhm.
I still look at it like, me personally, I couldn't do it. I have to be open. Like, this is my woman. I have to be open. That's just me personally. But I'm not
Yeah.
gonna judge another man that's not really fully open with it, and I'm
Hmm.
not gonna judge the woman who's accepting it. That's just
Hmm.
that's just their business. If
For sure.
if that dynamic basically worked for them, then let them rock.
Absolutely. I think I was just on the tip where I judged the men who didn't want to, who didn't want to sacrifice for to let's just say, to be righteous, to do what's right. I think I was there. I think for a while there, I was always there to judge men who didn't just stand up and stand on their shit. But when it comes to the celebrity, the athlete, it's just like I am reconsidering a little bit more now, and I'm just like, it would be great if that up and coming Michael B. Jordan guy, whatever actor, Anthony Mackie. I'm sorry, I don't know why I can't think of any. Denzel Washington's son. A lot of these young
David,
guys are actors. It's like I would love to see these guys come out and be like, "Yo, I fucks with women in this community, and trans women are women, and blah 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 blah," and really defend and just stand on their shit. It'd be great. It would be great to have these guys do that. It'd be great to see athletes do that. Because these are men that are considered upper that top 5%, like the upper class. Like, these are the really wantable men. And I think a lot of times, the stereotype is that, oh, the men with options, the rich men, like all these guys, they don't want these girls. That's what regular weird ass niggas do. Like, it's not fully accepted. And I think it also brings a little validity to women in the trans community. Because they're just like, damn, if this nigga, like,
so
these, like,
this
it,
young lady right
she's,
here, Jay
yeah.
Santiago,
Oh,
she's
yeah.
the one that basically the story is, well, not the story is about, because it's not about her. Basically, this whole situation of you wanting to speak on this is basically, was inspired by her.
Yeah, I was just on a live, and
Okay.
I just considered a different way
Sweet.
of
I'm just
being.
gonna let her know like this right here. Like, sweetheart, we're not here to judge at all. I'm not here to judge at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, no.
Not at all. Please
Jade,
don't feel that way. It's
Jade, I thank
all
you
love.
for offering a different perspective and opening up my mind. That's what this is.
Right.
You opened up my mind and showed me how the way that I was thinking was a little bit too closed off and a little bit too two-dimensional. So yes, like, Jade, fucks with you on that, and thank you for that. I know you didn't set out to do that when you went live this morning, but you did. And you never know who you touch or how you affect people. And when you share just a little bit about yourself, and it definitely affected me. Jay says, by the way, I no longer date men who can't openly love me, but the truth is we were both BL. I was living stealth. I'm learning how to live with my truth out loud. And yeah, that's a whole other side of it.
Yeah, that's another thing too. She's taking accountability. See what I mean? She's taking
Yes.
accountability for the action she played in the role in it too, which I commend her for that too. Yes, see,
Yes.
I understand.
commend you,
She wasn't
Jade,
fully
all
out,
day, every day.
right? She wasn't fully out herself. So
Yeah.
yeah. So all right.
But thank you for
I'm
that
not
this
judging
morning.
that situation at all. I understand it fully now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and basically just from like my standpoint, I don't judge her or anybody in her position. My judgment really is toward the guy, because the guy is the one that has that career of being a ball player, whatever, and he's rich at that point because he's getting that millions of dollars coming in. So a lot of them, and I'm not just pointing out ball players, but they could be rappers, they could be actors, whatever the case is. when they got all that money coming in their mind, they're like, okay, I got the money to live out whatever sexual fantasy that I want to have. And then whether it's being with a trans woman or being with a dude or whatever the case is, if that's part of their sexual fantasy, they go ahead and they try to live it behind closed doors. So this way it's like, oh, you know, it's my money that I'm spending, so it's none of your business. And it's like, dog, like, you know, just because you got money doesn't mean that you should be shady toward another human being.
Yeah, but I think really the large thing is there are men in these positions that actually are in love with these girls, and like they're living a whole relationship behind closed doors, you know, to protect what they have going. And again, I really think there's a color dynamic here where it's just black athletes, black actors, people in sports dominated by black athletes in general. Like black culture and its intolerance of the LGBT community plays a huge role here. And it's just like Trell was talking about locker room guys. He's a good locker room dude. And you know, when athlete X says, "Yo, this is what I'm about, and this is who I fuck with," and the rest of the athletes in the room, these street niggas that's getting paid a whole bunch of money to play ball, is looking like, "I'm nigga, but you gay, so you can't have your locker room next to me. You can't room with me when we travel. Like, don't even sit next to me on the bus. Like, I don't fuck with none of that." Like that, it just becomes such. It's like you know, even if I mean, really, for somebody to rightfully to do this in the right way, where even that judgment doesn't hurt, he would have to be like fucking Kobe. Like he would have to be a top tier producer on the court, where the owner, the GM, the coach, everybody's like, I mean, okay, this is a kind of a sideshow that we don't want, but look at the numbers this nigga putting up. Like he's playing his ass off out here. So it's just I don't know. I was judgmental before, and I'm really starting to understand. And like, you know, there are nuances to a lot of things out here, and it's just really interesting. But you know, at this point, I've already shared a lot of that. I guess that's just a good wrap up thought, since we are getting long on time here. So I will just wrap it up by just saying, Jade, thank you for sharing a piece of your life and changing how I look at things. That was definitely dope of you to do that. Apologies for the mistake I made earlier today. I kind of said some dumb shit on her live. I said some shit that I wasn't reading the room right, you know. So public apology here. But yeah, thank you for that. And you know, ladies, keep sharing your stories with men. You know, the more you share with us, the more we learn. And you know, we are here to grow and support you and be allies, and also to push other men to learn from you and be allies as well. Like we sit on these streams, yeah, we may talk about some frustrations we have with girls sometimes, but at the end of the day, it's all love. We love the fuck out of y'all. We here for y'all 110%. And we are here to push other men to be in that space with us and to be here and be protectors and allies of the community. So with that, brothers, we're gonna wrap this up. Brother Mike, tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Mike Brooklyn, and my podcast, the Real Talk Podcast. It's on Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, Google Podcasts, the whole nine. So, you know, wherever you find it, you could find the Real Talk Podcast.
Brother Trell, where can they find you, man?
Man, I need to hurry up and get me a podcast. But anyway, you can find me on all social media platforms, Kinkly Trell. I'm Kinkly Trell on everything. You can hit me up on there. I talk. And I even tell this to other dudes that's probably watching this or going to see this later on. They probably not going to watch it now. They probably see it later on. DM me. I'll talk to you. I'll give you a conversation because like even these so-called heterosexual straight groups. A lot of dudes use DM me like, yo, I'm glad you out here open with it. I mean, I'm not really open with it and everything. I'm like, yo, I will coach you through this. It's nothing wrong with it. I will tell you, I'll give you a few pointers, and that's that. You understand me? But yeah, Kinkly Trail on everything, man. Hit me up. I'll talk. Ladies, y'all can hit me up. Ask me a few things if you want. I'm an open book. Come talk to me. That's it.
For sure. Well, also everybody, please go on to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Give my podcast a 5-star rating. It's an Enlightenment podcast with Chris Patterson. like my Facebook page, like on Instagram, admin Michael's podcast. Subscribe to the YouTube page. You subscribe to the YouTube page, you'll see when I'm going live. So you'll get a little alert and all that stuff, and you'll be able to track my content. We got some other great conversations coming up. We're doing some video game streaming with some other cast conversations. This thing is definitely going to grow. We got some cool things on the way, and I'm dedicated to us men stepping up, and we are going to step up and show y'all ladies that we are really here for y'all. Just keep an eye out for what we're doing, because it's some dope shit on the way.
Yes, so with indeed.
That, yeah, yeah. With that, can't give all the plans away. But with that, thank you for checking us out, everybody, and see you on the next episode.